My beloved child, the moment you stepped out today, someone's eyes locked onto you in a way you didn't notice, but they noticed everything. The way you adjusted your collar, the way your sleeve sat perfectly imperfect on your arms, the quiet confidence you tried to hide yet couldn't because it leaked through the smallest details of your outfit. And what they whispered afterward carries a weight you're not prepared for. They said your clothes don't just cover you, they announce you. They said your presence enters a room seconds before your body does. That the way you wear what you wear makes people stop, pause, and wonder what story you're silently living. They felt an energy around you. An energy that made them question if you even realize how different you look from everyone else around you. Because the truth is, your clothes don't follow trends, they follow you. And the moment they said this, something in the air shifted as if an invisible alarm had rung, calling attention to a truth that's been quietly building around you for so long. But here's the part that will shake you from the inside out. They weren't impressed by how expensive your outfit was or how perfectly matched your colors looked. They weren't talking about brand labels or fashion choices. They were talking about the message your clothes carry. One you didn't even know you were sending. Something about the way you tuck your shirt. The way you hold your shoulders, the way your steps align with the weight of your day. It speaks louder than your words ever could. They said there's something shifting around this person. Something rising. They noticed how your clothes cling not to your body but to your story. Like they've memorized every heartbreak you stitched back together. Every hope you folded into your pockets. Every silent prayer you wore like a hidden layer beneath your surface. And when they saw you, they felt as if your whole outfit was trying to tell the world. This person is becoming someone impossible to ignore. That's why they looked twice. That's why they couldn't walk away, because you weren't just wearing clothes. You were wearing destiny. And destiny never walks quietly. And then came the part that will haunt them long after today, that the way your clothes fall on your body doesn't look accidental. It looks like preparation. Like the universe has been dressing you for a moment that hasn't happened yet, but is rushing toward you faster than you think. They said they've never seen someone wear simplicity with such power or confidence with such softness. It's like you're standing at the edge of something huge, something life-altering, something that will make people say, "I knew this person before the breakthrough." And that's what scared them most. Because they saw in you what you haven't fully seen in yourself yet. The transformation already started. You're not dressing like the person you were. You're dressing like the person you're becoming. They weren't shocked by your style. They were shocked by your shift. Something in the way you dress today made them believe you're about to step into a version of yourself that will change everything around you. And the strange part is, a part of you already knows it, too. Your clothes revealed it before your words ever could. You didn't realize it, my beloved child. But the moment you walked past that person, they didn't just notice your clothes. They noticed the energy wrapped inside them like a secret you never intended to reveal. They said, the way you wear your outfits has changed in a way that feels almost prophetic. Like every piece of fabric around you has started aligning with something bigger, bolder, and dangerously close to unfolding. They called it the quiet before the rise, a moment where someone's appearance begins to reflect a destiny they haven't even stepped into yet. And the wildest part is that this person couldn't shake the feeling that your clothes have started telling a different story. One where you're no longer walking through life trying to blend in, but unconsciously preparing for a moment that will put you in a place you never expected to stand. They said your clothes look like armor now, not decoration. They said, the way you carry yourself makes it seem like the universe has placed its hands on your shoulders and whispered, "Get ready." They noticed your confidence, not the loud kind, but the quiet, undeniable kind that slips out when someone is on the verge of becoming unforgettable. And when they said this, there was a tremble in their voice, as if they were witnessing the early glow of someone who's about to surprise everyone, including themselves. But the thing that truly shook them wasn't your style. It was the way your outfit today exposed something deeper. Growth. Real growth. The kind you don't brag about. The kind that shows up in the tilt of your chin. The calmness in your walk, the steadiness in your breathing. They said your clothes didn't just fit you, they framed you, highlighting a version of you that's been forming quietly in the background, waiting for its moment to step forward. They noticed the way you've started choosing comfort over comparison, authenticity over approval, and how that shift has begun to radiate from your appearance like soft light breaking through fog. They saw how your colors, your fits, your choices, all of it felt aligned, not forced. Like you're no longer dressing for the world's expectations, but for your own transformation. And that transformation is louder than any outfit you could ever wear. They became obsessed with understanding how someone could change so quietly yet so dramatically at the same time. And that's when they realized you didn't change your clothes. Your clothes changed because of you. They began to reflect the peace you fought for, the clarity you earned, the direction you found. That's why your presence hit them so hard. That's why they froze. Because they were looking at someone who has finally begun to step into themselves. And here's the twist that made their heart race. You walked away completely unaware that they were still standing there replaying the moment, trying to understand what exactly shifted when you crossed their path. They said you looked like someone who's carrying a story that's about to be revealed. A chapter that's been waiting to burst open, and your clothes were the first sign of it. They couldn't forget the way your outfit today spoke of a person who has outgrown old fears, old doubts, old versions of themselves. It looked like someone who's no longer living in hesitation, but in quiet certainty, even if they haven't realized it yet. They described it as watching a star before it explodes. Not in destruction, but in brilliance. They felt like the universe was using your appearance as a message, a warning, a promise that something extraordinary is heading your way. And the more they observed you, the more they felt like they were witnessing a beginning disguised as an ordinary moment. They saw someone who doesn't just wear clothes. They wear purpose, potential, and a future that's ready to unfold. And if only you knew what they said after you left, you'd never look at your reflection the same way again. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $20. My beloved child, when that person continued watching you from afar, something clicked in their mind, a realization so powerful that it left them stunned, almost breathless. They said, "The way your clothes sit on you doesn't feel random anymore. It feels intentional, almost divinely timed, as if every fold, every layer, every tiny detail whispers the same message. This person is stepping into a new timeline." They felt like they were witnessing the transformation of someone who has carried silent battles, hidden scars, unspoken dreams, and yet somehow risen above all of it with a grace that makes the world pause. They said, "Your outfit today didn't just look good. It felt symbolic, like the closing of an old chapter and the opening of something massive, something life-shifting, something that will make people who once overlooked you suddenly look back and wonder how they didn't recognize your power sooner." They said, "The way you wore your clothes today didn't show insecurity, fear, or hesitation. It showed alignment, clarity, and destiny." And what shocked them most was this: you weren't dressing for the world anymore. You were dressing for the future you're about to meet. A future that's already calling your name. But what they whispered after that will follow you long after this moment. They said, "The way you wear your clothes makes it seem like you're preparing for someone important, someone who will enter your life and understand you in ways nobody ever has." They said, "Your outfit carries a softness, a warmth, a something that feels like unspoken communication, like you're dressing for the version of you who is ready to be seen, understood, and valued deeply." They noticed how your style holds traces of your past, but no longer belongs to it. Like someone who has outgrown old pain, yet still carries the wisdom it gave them. They saw how your clothes hugged you, not like fabric, but like reassurance, like armor, like proof that you've survived things you never talk about. And that survival has changed the way you dress without you even realizing it. They felt like they were watching a silent evolution happening right in front of them. And it unsettled them in the best way possible. Because people don't usually change this quietly. People don't usually glow like this without something incredible on the horizon. But you were different today. You looked like someone who has spent years waiting for the moment where everything finally makes sense, and that moment is finally beginning. And then came the part they haven't told anyone else because it almost scared them. That when you walked past, they felt a shift in the air. Like the kind that happens right before a powerful storm or a groundbreaking revelation. They said you carry the kind of presence that makes people stop mid-thought, mid-sentence, mid-step, because something about you feels like a rising moment disguised in simplicity. They said your clothes today didn't tell the world who you are. They told the world who you're becoming. And the version you're becoming is someone who will shake the ground you walk on. Someone who will make people question how they ever underestimated you. Someone who will make every mistake, every heartbreak, every setback look like preparation. And what really shocked them was this: you didn't have to try. Your outfit didn't scream, didn't shout, didn't beg for attention. It simply existed, and that was enough to change the entire atmosphere around you. They said you looked like a chapter turning itself, like destiny rearranging quietly in your favor, like the kind of person who's about to step into a spotlight they never asked for but absolutely deserve. And if you could hear the way they described you, you'd understand that the world is already noticing a version of you that you haven't fully embraced yet. My beloved child, the moment that person replayed the sight of you in their mind, something inside them shifted deeper than simple curiosity. They felt a warning, a realization, and a magnetic pull wrapped together in one overwhelming moment. They said, "The way you wear your clothes looks like the universe has started preparing you for something that will test your heart, elevate your soul, and redefine your path." They felt as if your outfit today wasn't chosen by you, but chosen for you. Like destiny reached into your wardrobe and whispered, "It's time." They described the way your presence carried a stillness that wasn't empty. It was concentrated, like all your potential had gathered itself quietly inside you, waiting for the exact moment to burst forward. They said the way your clothes framed your body made it seem like you were no longer living in the shadows of your past mistakes or disappointments, but stepping toward a version of yourself that is ready to rewrite everything that once broke you. And in their words there was awe, genuine awe. Because they had never seen someone transform so silently yet so powerfully, without announcement, without noise, without seeking attention. They said, "You looked like someone who has learned to rise without showing the struggle, someone who has learned to shine without needing the spotlight, someone who has learned the art of becoming without asking for permission." What shocked them more than anything else was how your clothes seemed to hold emotion. Your emotion, even the ones you don't dare say out loud. They said the way your sleeves brushed your wrists looked like someone who's learning to trust again, slowly, carefully, courageously. The way your collar rested on your shoulders felt like someone who has finally understood their own worth after years of doubting it. They noticed the way your colors blended, not loudly, but meaningfully, like they were telling the world that you are done hiding the parts of yourself that once felt too fragile to show. They saw healing in the soft parts of your outfit and resilience in the sharp edges. They felt like your clothes were a map, one that showed where you've been, but more importantly, where you're heading. They sensed a calmness around you that doesn't belong to someone who is lost, but to someone who has finally found their direction. And they said that the way you carried yourself, wrapped in the fabric of your own becoming, looked like someone who is ready. Not ready in the loud, bold way the world expects, but ready in the quiet, powerful way that changes everything without warning. But the revelation that shook them the most, the part they still can't get out of their head, is what your clothes suggested about the future rushing toward you. They said you looked like someone who is about to meet a moment so significant, so life-altering that you'll look back at today and realize it all started here with the way you dressed, the way you walked, the way you unknowingly aligned yourself with the breakthrough forming in your destiny. They said there is someone out there who will notice you in the same way but far deeper. Someone who won't just see your clothes, but will see the pain you survived, the strength you built, the softness you protected, and the fire you kept hidden. Someone who will read your outfits like chapters, understanding the emotions behind every choice, every detail, every quiet transformation. They felt that your clothes today hinted at a future where you're not just seen, you're understood, not just observed, you're valued, not just admired, you're chosen. And this person couldn't shake the feeling that your life is about to take a turn so unexpected, so unbelievably aligned that the way you wore your clothes today will feel like the first sign the universe slipped into your path. They said you looked like a beginning disguised as a person, a destiny disguised as an outfit, a miracle disguised as an ordinary moment. And if you only knew how close your next chapter is, you'd understand why the world has started noticing you before you even notice yourself. My beloved child, when that person thought they had already understood everything about what they saw in you, something unexpected pulled them back into the moment. A detail so small yet so powerful that it rewrote their entire perception of you. They said the way your clothes moved with you wasn't normal. It was synchronized, intentional, almost as if your future was woven into every thread, guiding your steps without you realizing it. They described it like watching a scene they weren't supposed to witness. A glimpse into the early stages of someone whose story is about to explode into something extraordinary. They felt that your clothes didn't just follow your body. They followed your destiny, responding to something ahead of you that only your spirit can sense. The way your fabric caught the light, the way your silhouette held its shape, the way your presence settled into the space around you. Nothing about it felt ordinary. They said it looked like you were being shaped by something beyond the physical world. Something that wants to push you into the exact moment where everything changes. And the more they thought about it, the more they realized that what they saw in your clothes wasn't fashion. It was foreshadowing. A quiet, powerful, unstoppable foreshadowing of a rise that's already begun. But here's the part that kept them awake long after you were gone. They said, the way you wear your clothes reveals the kind of strength most people never develop. They saw traces of battles you fought alone, challenges you survived without applause, and storms you walked through without showing anyone the weight you carried. Your clothes held stories unspoken, unresolved, unforgettable. They said, the way your outfit sat on your shoulders made it look like you're someone who has learned to endure without breaking, to hope without forcing, and to walk forward even when the path was nothing but darkness. They saw how your style carries the softness of someone who has loved deeply and the sharpness of someone who has been hurt just as deeply. They noticed how your choices reflect a person who no longer seeks validation but alignment, no longer seeks attention but truth. Something about you felt like healing and hurt resting side by side, like strength wrapped in humility, like confidence wrapped in quietness. And they said the most surprising part was this. Your clothes didn't hide your story. They honored it. Every crease, every color, every movement looked like a chapter stitched into fabric, whispering to the world, not where you've been, but how far you're about to go. They didn't just see your clothes. They saw the journey written between the seams. And then came the realization, the one that struck them so deeply they couldn't shake it off even if they tried. They said your clothes looked like you're preparing for a moment that requires courage, honesty, and a decision that will shape the rest of your life. It wasn't the outfit, it was the weight it carried. They felt like you're on the verge of stepping into a truth you've avoided or a dream you've been scared to admit you want. They said your appearance looked like someone who is unconsciously dressing for a turning point, a revelation, an opportunity that will demand the strongest version of you. And that terrified them in a beautiful way because they knew that people don't dress like that unless something big is coming. They said the way you wore your clothes today reminded them of someone who is about to receive clarity they didn't ask for but desperately needed. Someone who is about to cross paths with a person who will understand them differently. Someone who is about to face a situation that reveals who they truly are. They felt like your clothes were preparing you for the moment life opens a door you didn't expect in a direction you never thought you'd walk at a time you never planned. And as they replayed the sight of you, they realized something that left them speechless. You weren't dressed for where you are. You were dressed for where you're going. And when that moment arrives, everything you are wearing today will make sense in a way that will send shivers down your spine. My beloved child, that person thought they had uncovered every layer of what your presence revealed. But the more they replayed the moment, the deeper their realization became. They said the way you wore your clothes today didn't just hint at transformation. It hinted at awakening. A kind of awakening that only happens when someone is standing at the edge of a powerful shift. The kind that doesn't just change their path, but changes the way the world sees them. They felt as if your outfit carried a vibration, a silent announcement that something within you has finally opened, something that had been waiting, watching, preparing. They said your appearance didn't look like someone trying to impress. It looked like someone ready to step into alignment. Every detail, your posture, your movement, your expression felt like pieces of a puzzle sliding into place. They described it like watching a sunrise in human form. Not loud, not rushed, but inevitable. And the strange part was this. You didn't seem aware of it at all. You weren't performing. You weren't highlighting. You weren't trying to be noticed. You simply existed. And your clothes made the existence feel sacred, significant, and impossibly rare. But the discovery that truly unsettled them was how your clothes made them feel something they couldn't explain. Something they called recognition. They said your outfit didn't look new. It looked familiar, not because they've seen you wear it before, but because it felt like a version of you they've sensed from a distance. A version that has been forming quietly behind your daily routines and silent choices. As if your clothes today belong to the person you've always been underneath everything life has thrown at you. They saw echoes of your younger self, the innocent one, the brave one, the hopeful one, woven subtly into the way your outfit rested on you, reminding them that no matter how much you've endured, you haven't lost the core of who you are. And they also saw traces of the future you, the stronger you, the wiser you, the more open-hearted you, emerging softly through your silhouette. It was like your clothes were caught between past and future, holding both identities at once, revealing how far you've come and how far you're about to rise. They said, no one dresses like that unless their spirit knows something their mind hasn't caught up to yet. And the more they looked, the more they felt like your outfit was a bridge. A bridge between everything you once feared and everything you're finally ready to embrace. But the moment that truly shook them, the one that made them stop thinking and just feel, was when they realized your clothes carried a message meant for someone specific, someone you haven't met yet, or someone who hasn't understood you yet. They said, the way you wore your outfit today felt like a signal, a silent calling, a kind of magnetism that only activates when two destinies begin moving toward each other. They felt like your clothes weren't just chosen by you. They were chosen for a moment that hasn't happened yet, but will arrive with an impact you'll never forget. They said your outfit today felt like the first line of a chapter that destiny is preparing to write with another person's presence. Maybe a connection, maybe a reconciliation, maybe a meeting that changes the air around you. They didn't know exactly what it meant. They only knew that your clothes felt like a message and someone out there is meant to receive it. And when that moment finally comes, everything about the way you look today, the colors, the textures, the details you didn't even think about will suddenly make sense. They said you didn't dress for today. You dressed for a moment your soul has already seen. And when it arrives, you'll understand why the world has started noticing you in ways you've never been noticed before.